Hey guys, good evening. It's Monday, April 22nd. A happy belated Easter to all of you. If my phone is shaking, it's because my little dog decided to come sniff at it. So, anyway, hope you all had a great Easter. Want to talk to you a little bit about a few things actually. Give you some updates on me and where I'm at, and not so much to feed my ego, although some may say so, but so many people um, that I still have yet to meet care, and it's amazing. And their interest, their well wishes. So some of this is for them because I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and sometimes I tell it like it is. I'm down in the dumps or stressing over some things, and other times I'm in a really good place, and it's good to share positive stuff too. So first of all, again, happy Easter. Weekend for me was really neat and special for a few reasons. One, um, it's coming at a time where I'll share again some good things, but Santa Claus, my 9-year-old son is like a car aficionado. I don't know, from the video games to the point that it's I find it remarkable, and it's not me being a proud dad. We'll see a car on the road miles away, especially sports cars, and I'm like, what car is that? And it's a Porsche, it's a Lamborghini, it's a Lexus, it's whatever, the Range Rover. It's uncanny. So Santa Claus had bought him tickets to the New York Car Show, the International Car Show in New York City, and we went this weekend, and it was really kind of neat. The show itself was great, but watching I shouldn't say watching him, chasing him around because I don't think we spent more than 30 seconds in any one car, but he had his map out and Dad over here, and just crazy. Some of the cars we saw included a $1.2 million. I'm not sure. It almost looked like a Ford Mustang, but it was not. I got some pictures of it. I posted on my Facebook page. But I think they're only making less than 50 in production, so it's a $1.2 million vehicle. But anyway, it was a good trip in New York City. I saw some extended family before we went, and that was great. I saw a dear friend who was kind enough to come in from Long Island and meet us and walk around with us for an hour. I mean, he made a 4-hour round trip to spend an hour with us. I'd like to have spent more time with him, but long day with the kids. He understood, and I appreciate that. So much love to you, Steve, and we'll get back out there. And then Sunday, um, the kids. We woke up, had Easter breakfast, and it's really neat. One of the things I think I've talked about, I really believe that you learn a lot from sometimes music. Just correlates a place and a memory with you, and movies. And it was neat. It was Sunday morning, and I'm sitting on the couch I'm sitting on now. My son was over here in a chair here, and my daughter was on that couch over there. We watched the movie Glory. Um, and there was one point in the movie where my son and daughter were having this dialogue that I just sat back and smiled. Your 9 and 12-year-olds probably shouldn't be having that kind of dialogue, but it was great. It was absolutely what I hoped they would get from it. So we saw a few movies this weekend. Had some messages in them, which was great. So I had a chance to relax yesterday. Um, from a weekend standpoint, it was really good from my point. On a more somber note, in world news, um, um, it's I don't want to say it's strange. I want to say it's hypocritical. But when things happen in America, it is blasted and covered, 24/7. Um, and they had not an incident, multiple incidents over in Sri Lanka. Over 200 people died, and I think I heard today that it was the result of 7 individual um, coordinated suicide bombers that just so madness persists. We didn't corner the market in this country on madness. It seems to be all over the world and pervasive. So again, remember and live for today, guys, to cherish each moment. People just going about their lives in Sri Lanka. Boom. Kind of a crazy thing. So um, that's where we're at there. A couple of notes here myself. I tend to make some goofy observations. I got one I'll share, but actually, you know what? I'll talk about that now. So um, uh, got home. Today was a good day. I'm going to talk about that. But I was just relaxing here at home after many errands I ran today and things I did. And I was watching a TV show, and I always get a kick. Even my daughter does it, says it a lot. You know, you hear about these pharmaceuticals, and take this for to stop your migraine, but watch out for collapsed lungs, anal leakage, and 94 different other things, depression, suicide thoughts, whatever. Um, and it's kind of a sort of a joke with it, but it's not. I'm not trying to make a joke with it, although I am kind of laughing at the title of it. So a woman was diagnosed with pre-diabetes, and it made me think, aren't we all pre-diabetes? Aren't we all pre-cancer? Aren't we all pre-something? I've heard the term, so I guess there really is some kind of medical connotation to it, that you're not quite full-blown diabetic, but you're right on the cusp maybe. But aren't we pre-cholesterol or pre-blood high blood pressure? Or, aren't we all pre-everything to some capacity? So to give that one specific thing a moniker was, I just kind of chuckled to myself a little bit and said, I wonder. I know there's a stand-up comedian I like named Bobby Collins. I think talks about and I think Seinfeld used to do about the Jimmy leg, and he does something called some kind of shake syndrome and whatever. But so that was one of the little observations I had. But wanted to talk about me for a minute, where I'm at with things. So many people have reached out to me. In fact, let me digress and go back to that for a moment. One of the neatest things that has continued to happen for me has been the friendships I developed and made on this journey. Every day I'm talking to somebody. I spent much of Easter texting a bunch of people, just saying, how are you doing and happy Easter. I'm making plans to meet Bob and Sue in Tennessee in June. I'm hoping to get a plan or a trip made to uh, Southern Ohio, I mentioned. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but I'm hoping to gather a bunch of folks that maybe can, within an hour take the trip and want to come meet me and the family, and maybe instead of me bouncing all over the place and only spending a few minutes of time, we can maybe have a giant picnic or barbecue or something. And then likewise here, a few days later in Central PA, similar thing. But two kind of really cool things happened, I thought, in the last couple of weeks. Um, I don't really wear my yellow Journey shirts, although I probably have 300 of them in my office. Um, but one day I happened to wear one to the grocery store, and I forgot that I guess I'm still where I am now, kind of Journey Jim. I forgot that people might recognize me as part of that. So my son and I were going by the produce area, and this gentleman looks at me and says, I thought you looked familiar. And he walks up to me and he introduces himself, and I've got a blank look on my face, and I'm trying not to be rude, but I don't know this person from Adam. And he says, hey, it's Jim Bragg. I was following you on the journey, and we were riding, and I lost track of you. And I remember talking to him for a good amount of time, and here was somebody I'd never met before that believed in the message of pointing the thumb and was following me. And we had about a 15-minute conversation, which was very pleasant, and we exchanged numbers and have chatted a little bit back and forth. And who knows what becomes of that? And so much has happened through this journey. Likewise, there was a young lady by the name of Linda Sasso who had ordered a shirt from me way back when I started the journey, and was following me, her and her husband Gene. And she's retired now. I think she was a teacher, and she reached out to me a couple of weeks ago and said, hey Jim, my husband and I are taking our first trip, doing Route 66, and we thought, is there any chance that you might be able to suggest some areas and some things? And one, I was flattered. Two, I think it's just great that perfect strangers can kind of come together in any capacity. But if my journey is the thing that'll get Gene and Linda and myself to talk a little bit, that's great. But as I said, I'd be excited to share a lot of the stuff with you. But for me, it wasn't about the places. Clearly, there's always the touristy places, but it's about the people. And what I would love to do more than anything is share and introduce her to some of the people that I met along the way. I know there are plenty of people that are proud of where they are and where they're from, and share some things. Jim, at the Old Post Inn in Kansas, I said you have to get there and spend the night there. It's just fabulous. To those of you that ever do Route 66, as you turn past Galena, Kansas, I forgot the name of the town right now, but it's a little B&B called the Old Post Inn. It used to be a post office. It's just so magnificent. in its beauty. And then there's Pam and Billy in Chelsea, Oklahoma. Don't look for Wi-Fi if you're there, but anyway, people like that. Cuba, Missouri, and Anna Lee and her family, and Jimmy at Frisco's. I mean, you gotta get to Cuba, Missouri if you're going, and spend some time and tell these people, get to know them the way they let me get to know them, and you'll see your trip will be phenomenal. And I'm sure they'd be willing to stop by and meet you, or at least point you in the right direction of some things in their town. So, but let's go back to where I'm at for a minute. Most of you know, if you followed the journey, I got back in a little bit of financial distress. Got into a job that was very cared about it. I passionate about it. Paid me well. Um, but it's just a hard business, and it's a hard group of people. Um, and it was taking just all of my time. I mean, 4 in the morning till 8 at night, 6, 7 days a week. Even when I wasn't working, you're kind of working. I've always been kind of that guy that is always on the clock or answering a phone or putting out a fire. I've always kind of been the person that puts out the fire, I guess. And I'd had enough. I have too many dreams and plans for spreading the message of pointing a thumb, and I was never going to do it in that capacity. So I resigned from that job, and I didn't quite know where I was at or what I was going to do. And I've got work. I know some of you are concerned, so I am not making the money that I need to make, but that's okay. There's building blocks. What I hope you take from this is how clear my head is. I have a set schedule. You know what? I'm not the guy I'm not management. I'm not putting out the fires. You know what I do? I go in and I do a job. I get on a forklift. I move things around and I get paid for it. And if I do it well, I'll have a job. I don't have to worry. I don't have to stress. I go in at this time. I come home at this time. As an example, today, went in at 7 in the morning. Got home at 3 in the afternoon. Ran to my daughter, I'll say. Some people get offended if I say that. Grace is my kid's older sister, who I love like my daughter. She had a softball game. Got the kids. We went down there. I mowed Heather's lawn. I got back from the game. I ended up mowing my lawn. My neighbor, 82 years old, in the hospital. Tough bird, but she's doing good, doing well. I got her lawn mowed. My other neighbor hadn't gotten hers done yet this year. The first mow was pretty tough. I was just in my mojo. It was a nice day out. I just kept going. I didn't hope she didn't get mad at me. I was going to surprise her. She got home. It's about 3/4 of the way done, so I was able to come back home. But I relaxed. I fed the dogs. You can see, if you can see just, my body language and my tone of my voice. It's 9:30 at night. I'm upbeat. I've been on the go since 5 in the morning. But this is, the book is being worked on tonight. I am so happy to say that, I'm gonna try to be conservative when I say that I think the book is gonna be finished by. I'll give myself, in case there's some time in there, my son's baseball tournaments or something. Let's say I'm gonna say a month from today, I will have everything completed. At least my version drafted and so forth. I'm running out of time, but you hear a lot of people say, you don't, whatever that, there's a phrase is you don't live to work, you don't work to live. What is it? You don't live to work, you work to live. Just that change, knowing that, I'm not making the money I need to get to, but I'll take care of that. But I'm in the right frame of mind. I've got the support of my family. Home has been really very placid and peaceful, which is not always the case, and that's been a blessing. And I'm just in the best frame of mind I've been in since I've been back. I'm looking forward to meeting folks that I haven't met. I'm looking forward to continuing the friendships that I've made. I love you all. I really do plan on spreading the message of pointing the thumb and not the finger. And we're there. It took me a while to get to this place, but we're here. So thank you for being supportive. Thank you for following me, to the Jims and the Lindens of the world, to all the people I've met along the way. Hang in there with me. I'm going to stay in touch, and we got good things coming, guys. So thank you. Love you. Have a great day and a good night, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.